We're live.
Easy
All
for you
right,
to say.
tonight's show is going to be reloading tips and organizing reloading equipment. We'll see you when we get back. Lost the internet for a minute. Boom. All right, I think we're on there. I'm not sure. Let me go into Rumble real quick. I think we're here.
Yep, we're on. We're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, we're back, people.
That's right.
We're
We're
here to stay.
back.
Not fucking leaving. Oh my god! Yeah, I forgot to plug
Musings
up
of a
something,
madman.
and I didn't realize until I looked down and hit the start button. I was like, "Oh shit!" I knew it was gonna happen.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I forgot to plug up something. All right, we're getting the live chat going so we can monitor everything. All right, boom.
Gotcha.
All right, guys, we're here, and so let's go ahead and thank our sponsor, Saber Team Tactical, and where is it? Boom. There it is. On the front page, we're gonna start making some ads for this. Right to Bear. Right to
Yep.
Bear is a self-protection program. Not self-protection program, but legal protection program
Mhm.
that will help you in any type of self-defense issue for you guys who are dealing with your hands or a object to defend yourself or a firearm. This protection program will help you get you out of jail, give you psychological counseling, and also, um, oh, they won't charge you if you found guilty.
Right.
And a lot of other programs out there, they will want their money back if you found guilty. And go ahead and click on that green sign right there. Use the discount code SABER,
Mhm.
SABER, and you will save you $2 a month on any of your subscription.
Yes.
And you can't go wrong with that. It's a good program. Check it out. We see a few of you guys already signed up already. So we need the rest of you guys go ahead and keep signing up and get protected. And this will cover you in all the states of the United States.
Yeah. And I want anybody to, if you do the research, come back and let us know what you think. Do the research. We've done the research, and this is by far, I'm going to say the best. Legally, we're probably better off saying one of the best, but
Mhm.
it's probably the best program
It's
out there.
probably, yeah, it's probably the best one of the best ones out there.
Yep.
We are also members and can't go wrong. Sign up and get yourself protected. And especially you guys sitting out there practicing jujitsu and stuff. You end up
Hmm.
get on the ground, break somebody's neck.
Yep.
Their family gonna try to sue you for wrongful death. So
Exactly.
you better get yourself hooked up. You're thinking
Yeah.
you running free because you don't carry a gun, you're not gonna use a knife or whatever. You're still using your hands. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
All
still
right.
cause somebody bodily harm.
And that family's gonna sue you.
Right. You win the criminal and lose the civil. That's still a
Mm-hmm.
loss.
Yep.
Still a loss.
And they're gonna try to take that 1 bedroom apartment that you guys have. They're gonna take it. You know.
As we move on to our offerings of firearms training, our bailiwick is the one-on-one firearm training where you get private training at the cost as if you were paid to be with 15 total strangers. We charge the same price, we give you the same amount of time, and we give you more attention during our one-on-one courses. Everybody knows, we go through an evaluation, we see where you are, and we start from there. So if you've never shot a firearm before, we know where to start. If you shot a firearm and you want to work on certain aspects of it, reloading, transitioning from one target to another, we start from there. If you come out and you don't have a clue, but you just want to get better than where you are right now, we'll run you through our program. We see where you are, and then we move from there. And any of the topics that you see are available for us to do from two. Hell, I've done some of these programs, the shotgun program for one person before. So you
Mm-hmm.
reach out to us, let us know what you want to do, and any of the topics here. If you don't see something here, reach out to us anyway. We'll tell you if we can work with you or not. If you come out and you talking about you want to shoot a flamethrower, you gotta go find someplace else.
I'll work with you.
See, we'll work with you. Fucking pyro, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Scroll down a little bit, bro.
All right.
Yep. And as you see here, we have our last class of the year, November 18th. It's the rifle and tactical gear class. We had people earmark. They said they were coming, but we haven't seen them sign up yet. So you have to sign up. This is the last week to sign up. And I know four people who said they were going to do it, and all four of them are late people. All four of them are Johnny come latelys. They will show up if you need them. I trust. I'm gonna say 3.75 of them, right? And then
But it
let
really
them
doesn't
figure out
matter.
who they are.
If you don't sign up, that's cool. I'm just going to turn it into a training
I
day for
know. I
myself.
don't want you to respond. You see, I knew he was going there. I knew he was going
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
But you the realist. I'm gonna put the fluff out there. The
Okay.
key is sign up. If you said you want to do it, you've been looking forward for a number of months. Go out there do it. I'm not gonna call no names.
You just did.
Pretty much. They know
Oh
who they
my
are.
god. Right, right. You're funny, man. You're
That's
funny.
right.
Rifle Tactical Gear class is open to anybody that's an intermediate to advanced shooter. You must be capable of manipulating your firearm, pistol, or rifle during a malfunction and get it back into operation on your own without assistance.
Right.
If you can do that, this class is for you. If you have gear you want to test out and you bought it on Amazon, you want to see if it works, this class is for you.
Hmm.
If you got plate carriers and you bought off a Whoosh and you want to see if they work and how heavy they are, this class is for you. And
And we've had some people with Amazon Gear make it to the other side without any
yes,
incident.
they did make it to the other side. I was very surprised.
Me too.
And um, but this class is you're going to work as an individual, work as a team, 8 hour course. It's a lot of shooting, a lot of maneuvering, a lot of movement, and you will enjoy it. It is a very enjoyable class. Nobody else is teaching this stuff, and it's something that was actually used in real life,
Hmm.
and we're just teaching it to these civilians. If you want to learn it, that's about all I can say about it.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, bro, it's self-explanatory.
Yeah,
If you don't show, you don't show. That's cool. We
yeah,
still love you. That's right.
right. When I taught this class in Korea, I was telling a buddy of mine today. I taught this class in Korea, and when I started out teaching it, um, used to always put a big chaw of chewing tobacco in my mouth,
Oh damn.
and and I do a spit, and I start at the feet, and I work my way up all the way on the guy's uniform, right?
Damn.
When I got through the first phase of that, just teaching the tactics of the maneuver and all that stuff from each
Hmm.
person, one of the NCOs in the group was like, "Who the hell is this guy? Where do you guys get this guy from?" I've never heard of nothing he's teaching in my entire life.
Hmm.
I was like, he's like, "Oh my God." He freaked out, dude. It was so funny because this guy had been in the army for roughly 6 years and never heard of half this stuff. And he was on the reconnaissance team.
Right.
I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
You know?
and that happens. Depending on where you are and who you follow, that you can miss out on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was so funny. The only reason I got to teach that class in Korea because the lieutenant kept bugging me about it, and he found out that had some background in this area, and so he's like, "I want to see what you got," and I
Right.
blew him all away. Let's see what else.
And we're all
All right.
happy for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we
Yeah.
we that course I've been through it. Omar, the guys that were Saber team, we've been through it, and we all are like, damn, because there's some of the stuff. I was a cop for a long time, and never did anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't cross over like that. And I got plenty of Marine buddies, plenty of Army buddies, Special Forces, spooks, all you name it. I got all kind of guys I know, but didn't do anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do it one time, you want to do it again. And
Mm-hmm.
see, and Omar said the same thing. He just chimed in, and we'll show
Mm-hmm.
that in a little bit. But it's this. I know. I talked to him, and that's why I said it. I wasn't being funny. As you always looking, but I'm serious. I was like, yo, it's a good thing that you were able to get that program put together.
Right, and
We're all better for it.
I taught it in the 24th Division, third ID, first CAV, and the second ID. I taught it in 4 different divisions. So
Cool.
yeah, I shared it with a lot of different people. Um, Click on the top, laser engraving. You can watch this video on leather patches. I make plaques, patches, novelty magazines, magazine holders, magazines itself. I can configure them. And if you got any questions, want anything done, hit me up, Saber Team Tactical, especially you veterans. You guys got stuff like old unit patches or unit logos or something like that. You got Airborne Ranger or something like that you want hooked up, hit me up. I can make you something so you can remember it for the rest of your days. And
Good stuff. Good stuff.
yeah, let's go ahead and knock out these
Comments.
chats. Thank you, Omar, for the thumbs up. WK, thank you for the thumbs up. WK also says hit the thumbs. We'll get to that. I haven't even seen where he was at. You good? All right. And 702 said peace. All right. WQ said hit the thumbs up, y'all. And hit the thumbs up on YouTube and Rumble. We're also broadcasting live on Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, and we're still on the
On
air
Kick.
on Kick.
I'm
believe
on
it or
Kick
not.
right now, and I'm looking at
Yeah,
it like,
I'm
what?
surprised
It
we're
actually
still
came
there.
up.
Yeah, and but on YouTube and Rumble, please give us a thumbs up. Our numbers are finally growing on YouTube for some unknown mysterious reason. It's
Yeah.
probably because you guys are watching and sharing the show. I do see that in the algo. So I thank you guys for doing that. And you guys do give a lot of comments. And you guys are giving us a thumbs up on both ends, Rumble and YouTube. So our numbers are growing. And Omar said, great course, the rifle tactical gear, and he can't wait to do it again.
Yep.
So if all else fails, we'll go out there and train ourselves. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And play around.
Hmm.
So
That's some fun.
no sweat off my nads.
And that's the thing. You see,
Yeah.
that's another thing. I know we're getting into the topic here, but on the same note, we do other things to make the ends come together. So I hear people and they talk about it. And I saw a post just recently where people, I guess a lot of firearms instructors are quitting after the COVID big.
Yeah, COVID destroyed a lot of people. It
But
really
that
did.
too. But then it also festered or bore a lot of people who were bored and thought, this is a level up. Let me become an instructor, and they
Hmm.
got their online certification because you couldn't get next to the next person because you'd wind up dying. So now all these guys are out there and they're realizing that this is a really tough industry because
Right.
there's hundreds of thousands of instructors out there and you got booty basement people and then you have highly polished people, and
Booty
how do you
basement.
discern between the two? You show up for a class and most new people have no clue who's a jerk and who's good, and
Hmm.
that's the thing. So now a lot of the middle people who were trying, they were really, I would believe that they were really trying to become better instructors are failing, and they're just dropping off.
Hmm.
And this guy, and he made a good post, but like, hang in there. Somebody needs you to train them, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But when I was reading it, I was looking at it, I'm like, wow. A lot of these guys are disillusioned in that this was going to be profitable.
Yeah, they thought they was gonna
This is
become
passion,
millionaires.
bro. This is passion.
Yeah.
This is something that you learn and that you want to pass on to somebody else. This is not
Mm-hmm.
like, I got the secret to the next iPhone, or this is going to be better than Android. That's not this. That's not what this is.
Right.
This is where you've developed a to be a proficiency, so to speak. You develop a proficiency, and then you're showing somebody else how to get where you are. That's what this is. When
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at this, especially you don't have a big name, and then you got guys that come out of the blue. I forgot the guy, the pastor guy that used to have the videos that were all sped up, and now people like that, and they're sensations, but they all you got to look behind them and see how they got there.
Pastor guy. Who the fuck are you
Yeah, he
talking
was
about?
a pastor. I don't know his name. Omar knows him.
Oh, he turned
He turned
firearms instructor.
all the fast drawing stuff he was doing, looking like this.
Oh.
He was doing all that on YouTube and Instagram, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, look how fast this guy is!" And then now he's doing instruction and going across the country. He was training military and police officers.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't by himself.
Right.
He's got a whole conglomerate of people who are pushing him.
Right.
And not only pushing them but funding. The same
Mm-hmm.
thing when you look at all these other guys. People come out and they have an honest opinion about doing something. I'm getting into another topic. We should use just another topic. But anyway, I just thought about there's a lot of information going on here. But
You
that's the
doing it?
thing. And right now, that's one of the things that we have to pay attention to because it's a burnout.
Yeah.
Bottom line is that you can get burnt out with this because you have ideals and you know what you really want to do, and then you don't get that from people buying into what you're trying to sell. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I read from this post, and it was like, wow. And there were a lot of people who chimed in and said, yeah, they got certified like 2020, and they only do people, friends and family, or people who come to
Mm-hmm.
them.
They can't get students.
Right, you can't get
Yeah.
students because
Can't get students.
really
Even if
most
they give it
people,
for free, they still can't get students.
and we've seen that dude was doing
Yeah.
it $35 a
Mm-hmm.
class, and the damn fee for the range was 40. So like, how you
Mm-hmm.
doing that? But
Right.
the thing about it is, you got a lot right. You got a lot of people out there
Can't even
that
have gas for his car.
right, good hearts, but people buy a gun, a $700 gun, and then expect to take a course for $35, and it's like you
Yeah.
gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
You just spend you walking around with a Gucci Sig,
But this is
but
how
then
you get
can't
away with that.
spend right.
Yeah. People listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out to the range and take a class from an instructor, make that instructor shoot. Make that instructor shoot some distance. Ask that instructor to shoot some distance. Ask that instructor to shoot something close and rapid. If that instructor can't produce that, that's not your instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And most of these instructors that take these classes, yeah, we're going to a different subject. We're going to get
Yeah,
to
that's
this.
what I said.
video.
We right. I
Yeah.
wrote it down
I
already,
did-
so we
yeah.
good.
Yeah. But most of these instructors, and this would be another topic, most of these instructors cannot produce what they preach.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them out there. And that's all I have to say about that because I want to get into reloading ammunition tips and organizing equipment. So
Yeah.
we're going to open up the phone lines too on this one. So reloading app. Yeah, you guys can call in when I figure out what I'm doing over here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Reloading ammunition tips and organizing equipment. So
right.
from an outsider, I don't reload, but I do know how to reload, and I've been around a number of reloading people, such as the guy right here. And one of the things that I notice is that it's very systematic in that you have to have places to put things. You just can't have things jumbled up and then it's over here. You have to have organization.
Yeah. You got to have a clean environment, work environment. That's a must. You can't have powder and primers laying all over the place. You got to get the dust out of the way. And like we mentioned last week, you got to have an air compressor because you do not want to vacuum clean up powder. Because you vacuum clean that powder, you turn that vac, especially if you got a shop vac, you'll turn that shop vac into a bomb. And it will blow your garage completely up. And so
any small space.
Yeah, any small space. So best thing to do is just I blow my powder and dust away, then I just take a broom and a shop broom and I just sweep it up, put it in a trash can, or I take it and throw it out in the yard because it's nitrates from the powder and it just helps the grass anyway.
Right.
So some of the tricks you can do for reload. Well, let's start with ammunition tips. Reload ammunition tips. Um, you got to use a case lube. A lot of people don't use case lubes or lube their dies on the inside of their dies, and what'll end up happening, you'll end up scarring your die, and it from the casing, because what'll happen, the casings that go up in there and they're dry and they end up crimpling or bending, especially on your depriming die. And if you don't watch it, you can break that depriming tool needle off. And so if you got to be very careful that it goes in straight, because what'll happen if the casing is dry, it'll hit the bottom of the depriming case and it'll bend over. And then when that depriming tool comes down, it'll hit that casing. Then it end up scarring up your depriming tool, or it end up snapping in half. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now you sitting up here trying to find out where you can get another depriming.
Right. And simple forethought could have prevented that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a simple, some case lube, and you don't need much, you know what I'm saying? And what I do with the cases, I take the cases and put them in a can and case lube and spray and shake them around. That's all I need, you know? And it's just this dry case lube, and it's just mist on the casings, and it's just enough to lubricate. You know, it doesn't have to be sopping wet. Don't, you're not oiling on 1911. So just remember that. So it don't need. It's just dry case lube. You can't use wet lube. So you're thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to get some axle grease and put. You can't do that, because the lube, if it's a wet lube, it's going to affect the powder charge, and the powder charge will change over time, or not fire. You know. Another thing, this is a biggie. Do not do this. If your brass is not clean and you put your bullets together, so you decide to take your bullets and throw them back into the agitator. Yeah. Yep. WK said one shot case lube, dry case lube. That's some good stuff. It's expensive, but it's good stuff. And it goes a long way. It's a small can for like $12, $13, but it's going to last you for a couple of years or so if you don't get greedy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so one of the things you don't do, don't take bullets, any type of bullet that you have put a primer, powder, and a bullet together in the tumbler. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, WK. Don't put it in the tumbler and let it agitate when it's already been completed. When you do that, what happens is when you agitate that powder, the powder breaks down and it turns into a whole different powder load. So you may have loaded something for a pistol in for your in a 9mm, but now you're agitating it and you just broke down the powder to make it more finer, and so it creates a different powder charge, and now you may have a rifle charge in that bullet. So you can blow yourself up. So be very careful when doing it, and that's a huge no to do. Do not try to polish uh, bullets that's already been put together. Just let them be dirty and just shoot them
There's
that
still
way.
fire.
They're still fire. Yeah, they will not hurt, and just don't try to clean them up. Um, like I said, have a clean work area. Um, also, one of the other things I do, I have a flashlight on my press.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I used to have a powder check tool on there, but I found the powder check tool was always readjusting itself and on its own, and it's this really annoying. So what I did was put a flashlight on the top, and so when the after the casing gets filled with powder and it goes over to the next stage, it's a blank spot there. I don't have a die. That's where the flashlight's at. So when I come down and crank, and when I go back up to get another assist, I just lean over and look. And when I look, and I'm looking into the casing, and I'm seeing where the powder level is at. And if the powder level is consistent to where it was the previous round, then I know we're good. If I look over and I see no powder in there, or if I see a double charge in there, then I just caught it, caught myself from being blown up,
Right.
or getting a squib load. So I'm just saying, pay attention. Don't be sitting here watching TV, on the phone. You guys who smoke, don't be smoking.
Damn.
I'm just cats to do it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're sitting up there smoking and carrying on, drinking a little beer. Don't be doing it. Stay,
You
because
gotta pay full time and attention.
yeah, just pay attention. It's not going to take you long to load about 300 or 400 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So, and so if you're going to do it, be professional about it and do it right. And once you see that powder charge in it, then you can put that bullet on top, crank to the next size, and seat it and crimp it. Then move on to and it goes around and dumps out.
Do
and
you
you're good
use
to go.
containers after you make your ammunition? Do you use those like
To separate the ammunition? Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason I use those contain well, before I even get to that, buy yourself a case, what is it? Case checker, case sizer, and so you can dump all your casings in a sizer to make sure they're going to fit in the chamber. Now, some guys, what they do is take the barrel off your gun and they just dump them in the barrel and they dump them back out. But I just ended up buying a 100 bullets casing, so I just put all 100. It's expensive, you know what I'm saying, but you can put all 100 of them in there, and you can just dump them out. That's like, and this helps out if you're doing mass. If I got 400 and something rounds, I'm not gonna be sitting there doing one at a time. Right. Yeah, I'd rather do 100 at a time. And
it makes sense because you'll be able to see it from once you put all
100. You put them all in there, and they should all be the same level. And you're checking if they're the same height. Case gauge. There you go. WK. Thank you. I knew.
Thank you. Yeah. You're technical, Mr. Technical. Appreciate
case
you, brother.
Gauge. They got you. I mean, you get this. I got the single case gauge. And I got the big one. So, but they're not cheap. And
but none of this is cheap. Let's get that over with, because as much as I found out recently, like I try to find deals with it, some of the stuff you're just gonna have to pay with it, and sometimes you pay through the nose. But it's what you need, so you have to buy it.
But you don't have to buy everything new, and that's true.
That's true too.
Yeah, so that's the good thing about reloading.
But everything's not a bargain.
It's not a bargain, but if you find somebody that's willing to get rid of the stuff, just offer them a price. So I can say, if a guy's got a press and he wants, 1,500, let's say, okay, I give you 1,300 and I drive to come get it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal to make, to cut a deal. You know what I'm saying? Right. The guy might just say no. If this price is firm, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'll come get it anyway, because you're giving out a good deal.
But in the situation of a case gauge, a quality one, you're going to pay the price, and then in the future, it will benefit you.
Yes, it will.
If it's something, something as simple as that, and it's $60, then go ahead and spend the $60 for it.
Right, because if you don't, and now a lot of people don't understand what a case gauge is. A case gauge is sizing your casing after you went ahead and deprimed it, primed it, and crimped the bullet on. And if you don't have your sizing tool correct, what's going to happen? You're going to warp the casing, and it's going to get a little bit bigger. And when you go to put that bullet inside the breech of your pistol or rifle, it's going to either get stuck or is it not going to go all the way? And it's going to cause you to have a double feed. So it's always best to pre-check all those casings beforehand, so that never happens. Then if you find any of them defective, you can just take them out and get that bullet tool and take them apart and just redo it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless the case is too far damaged, then you might have to throw the case away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way you're gonna possibly fix the case if it's wedged out at the bottom. You know, there's no way you're gonna be able to fix it.
Right.
But if it's wedged in the center or the top, you can probably resize it. But if it's wedged at the bottom, it turns into an upside down mushroom, and there's no way to fix that. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to cause a pressure point to explode.
That's also the reason why we get multiple cartridges as well, or casings,
Yes.
should I say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we go. Thank you, WK. Case puller. Thank you, man. I mean, I had all this stuff in my mind earlier, and I was like, oh, I got it. And then I get up here on the show, and I forget every single thing, you know, all the terms and the names. And so those are things you got to have. Now, what I was talking about, the case gauge. So it's once you got a good case gauge, then I take it from there. Then I dump them into a big bowl, big plastic bowl. Then I take those bullets and put them in those reloading bullet cases. You put 50 rounds at a time in there. Mm-hmm. So I load those in there, and then I write the data of what type of bullet it is on a little data sheet, what type of bullet it is, what's the powder charge, what's the primers, and the grain of the bullet. And I put that on there.
And that's the reason why I asked you that question, is because I know a lot of people who do go the cheap route, and they'll reuse other
ammunition boxes.
Ammunition boxes from manufacturers,
different manufacturers.
And the thing they'll really, I've watched them, they'll write on the side, like the ones that say the red ones or the white ones where you can actually see it. The black ones, you're not going to be able to do it, but they'll write on the side with the same things that you said. And one of the things that when I was looking at it in different people, it's like if you buy the $5 reloading box cartridges for cartridges, you can they have little tabs on them and those little index cards that you can stick on them, and it's a little bit easier. And then you know exactly what you have, as opposed to trying to figure out, this hieroglyphics that you wrote in this little maybe quarter of an inch space, as you're saying. Okay, and you can't.
Oh yeah, you can't figure it out. Right.
It's only $5, and I mean,
right.
Those things are like at the most $8.
Right.
And that's if you didn't, shop around. You buy 3 or more, you're probably paying $4 for those things.
Mm-hmm. And now the reason I write all the information on there, because I might load 147s, I might load 115s, I might load 124s. And so I want the bullet loads to be different, because the powder charges are going to be different for each of those bullets. And I may use tight group, I may use something else, a different type of powder with a different charge, so when that batch comes through, that's a whole different batch. So I want that batch to be together. So if I go through, let's say if I loaded 100 rounds of this batch and I started shooting that first box and I'm finding something wrong, I can go and look at that data sheet and say, okay, this batch is bad, let's set these aside. I'm not even going to shoot the other batch. Yep. And so that's the reason why you need to have good data, so you know what's going on, and you're just not loading stuff and shooting it. Then if something happens, you can't take a course of action and try to figure out where you went wrong as a learning experience. Because what if you get out there and you blow your gun up and you're like, okay, what was in that batch? I don't even know where these rounds are at, because I just mixed them all up in this big bucket.
Systematic, the trays, the separation, all the components are definitely necessary.
Right. And then you'd be like, well, I gave Johnny some of those rounds, and now I got to call him, tell him don't shoot them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna blow his gun up. You know, so
Long Dread's not on here, but he was one of the first people in the state of Georgia that I met that was a reloader. And one of the things I always heard him say when we had a group of guys that we shot with, and the guy was like, "Man, make me some bullets, make me some ammo. I'll buy the components." And he was like, "Nah, you can come over and do it yourself." He was like,
mm-hmm.
"I'm not doing it." And when I first heard it, I was like, "Damn." And but he offered to show people, like the guys that we were shooting with, how to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I started talking to him, I started listening. It was like, oh, because you never know. You never
Right.
know. You making reloads, and it only takes one round to
Mm-hmm.
be overcharged, and all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, you got a mushroom cap in your gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And the injuries can go from catastrophic to losing a hand. Yeah, I
mhm.
mean, it depends on what type of gun it is. It can go into your throat, your face. I mean, it's a lot of injuries you can
Mhm.
sustain from that firearm. And now you just loaded some rounds for somebody, and even if you selling them or giving them to them, you just became liable for
Well,
a civil lawsuit and a legal charge.
well,
You know,
I
because you.
was broke. 1987. Police officer in the state of Maryland. Used to go to the gun shows and buy, I don't know what size the baggie, not the sandwich bag, but the one bigger than that,
Mhm.
full of ammunition, maybe
From some.
150 rounds of 38. Didn't know this guy. If this blew up, I wouldn't even know where to find him. It was somebody,
Mm,
and I'm telling you, I'm lucky. When I listen, and as time goes on, we all have done something that you look back and go, "Damn, I was buying ammo from the gun show for maybe at least a year because I thought it was cheaper than every place else, and it was always there. And every time I showed up, every time I went to the gun show, and I went to the gun show in Maryland in the '80s, it was like a gun show
these was
every 2 weeks.
unlicensed dudes making that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
unlicensed.
Mhm.
We call them FUDs today. Some FUD dude just sitting there cranking them out and probably making them for 3 cents, selling them for 25 cents, and I'm buying them up. Oh man, I was having a ball. And at the end
Mm,
of the day, when I realized that, as time goes on, I'm like, damn. And I hear people talking about reloads. I didn't know any better. I didn't. I
right.
just saw this was a deal. It was a Ziploc bag. They were, some were, as WK said last week, some were nickel plated, and I was like, oh, those are nice. Those are the better ones. Yeah, but who put the components
Whew.
together?
Yeah. You didn't know what
Yeah,
type of powder they had in them. You didn't
no,
know what
no,
they
no.
were. You just
And
knew it was a.
even if it was written on there back then, I didn't know what that meant. He
Mm-hmm.
could have had some of the best powders going, but back then it was like, okay, do they fire when you pull the trigger? And he was, yeah, sure do. Go and try you some. Sure enough, fucking mushroom in front of my gun. I wouldn't know where to find this guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's the things like that we try to help new people with, and this is the reason why we're doing this show is to let you know if you're interested in reloading, find somebody who will mentor you through it. And as Al mentioned before, the forums. Go to the gun shows and stand next to the guys with the reloading powder and talk to them, and not buy their ammunition, but talk to them about how to make your own.
Yeah, but you also buy the ammo. Yeah, but you can buy something too if you're gonna engage with them. Buy something at least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
buy powder, not ammo.
yeah, buy something. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The phone lines are open too. 404-692-0561. And if you guys want to chime in and talk, and but yeah, I mean, all press are different. So you need to go to the manufacturer page of that press and look up the maintenance on those things. Every single one of them have a different level of maintenance, and you have a different level of maintenance for a routine level of maintenance to keep it clean. Then you have a scrub down maintenance job you can do on that thing to keep it clean. When you disassemble it and scrub it down and clean down in the bottom of the the plate and blow all the dust and powder, all that stuff out of there. And then you have your You also have the heavy maintenance of keeping it lubed. You need a grease gun because they got grease nipples on a lot of your press. I know my Dylan does, and so you got to put some axle grease in there and grease it up. You know what I'm saying? Keep it going, and you
How
have
often do
the
you? What do you recommend? How often you do that?
they recommend it's after so many rounds to do it, but I just do mine once a year because I don't use it that often,
Okay.
and like I used to, and but it's um, once a year for the heavy greasing, and as long as it stays in a dry um, um, area where it's not in direct sunlight, you really don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
It's not gonna rot it out. You know what I'm saying? And but once a year, just go ahead and fill it up and keep it a deep clean. If you keep your press clean all the time, you really don't have to worry about it. And a lot of people are just nasty with their press, and
Mm.
but you got to keep it very clean because you want to keep the rust and stuff off of it, especially your dyes, and because it'll cause a lot of problems, especially your powder. Loading your powder in there to cause a lot of problems. Your plate to start sticking, and also some other tips. It's for I have a Dillon 650. I went on eBay and bought some upgrade kits for my Dillon 650 for the plates. The Dillon 650, you buy it from Dillon, and the plate carousel had a tendency when it turned a little bit, it was jerking. So you can
Mm.
actually take that apart and buy a upgrade kit on eBay that gave a different roller bearing in the bottom, so it turned smooth and didn't jerk. You know,
Okay.
or yeah, and it's a bunch of other upgrades you can get off of eBay from a lot of guys who was making this stuff, and you can actually add it to your press and make it run a little bit better. You can change your hand. I changed my handle out so it wasn't so rigid and actually had a little turn in it, so it's a little bit more comfortable. And um, but it's a lot of little things you can get online and look up on YouTube and find some of these guys are talking about the upgrades and things you can do to your press to make it run a little bit better. Now, um, I know Hornady runs just as good as the Dillon,
Hmm.
uh, but if you buy yourself a Lee carousel press, be prepared to get a whole shitload of replacement parts,
Wow.
and they're not cheap. So you might as well get on. Well, they are cheap because they're all plastic parts, and so you might as well get on Lee if you got a carousel press and start buying some replacement parts that's going to wear out, and they will wear out very rapidly because they're all plastic. And that's the only thing I didn't like about Lee's press because they made a lot of plastic parts in the carousel for the Lee,
Hmm.
and not the single stage press, just the progressive press. And the Dillon and the Hornady has all metal parts, so you don't get that problem with it breaking down. You know, craftsmanship. That's what it comes down to. And um, you can just see the craftsmanship. There's a lot more better in the um, Hornady and the Dillon products, even though Lee's been around a very long time and they mastered the single stage press, but they did not when they went to the carousel progressive press. They they built it cheaply, trying to pump it out and get it out to the mass public, and they did a pretty good job of making the prices cheaper than the Hornady press, because the Hornady press back in the 80s was $400, and the Lee press back in the day was under 300.
Okay.
With dies. So you was like, I want that Hornady, but this Lee is looking mighty sexy over here. You know what I'm saying? And when you buy
Save a
that
few
Lee,
coins.
yeah, you're saving a few coins. But everybody was telling you, you need to wait on that Hornady. He's like, I can't afford that Hornady right now, but I can afford this lead. You know what I'm saying? I can
Mm-hmm.
get started and start making something right now. So you end up buying that lead and you regret it every single time. That's what happened to me because I didn't have nobody telling me to not buy that lead, save up some more money and get that Hornady. That's what I should have got. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning. And I never would have
See,
looked back. You know?
cry once, buy
Yeah,
once.
buy once. So I went through a series of three different press before I ended up with this Dylan 650.
Okay.
Yeah. So um, it sucks, man. And finding a good shotgun press. I think Lee probably makes the best shotgun press. You know,
Okay.
and they still make some pretty good shotgun press. That's what the Lee makes good rifle press and shotgun press. When it comes down to bullets, you got the single stage, and it's going to take you forever to make some stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but um, um, what was the other company I was talking about? The
Dylan.
no, not the Dylan. The Dylan was a surprise. Dylan was a secret that nobody really talked about. You know, everybody had the big guys all had Dylans, but they never talked about it to the public. They all kept it secret. So the only
Mm-hmm.
thing you saw was the green press. I can't remember that one. I think WK
That's
is going
that
to
one
say
with
it.
the four. They had a four letter acronym
Yeah,
like
it was a
RCBS.
horrible RCBS, horrible press. I could not stand RCBS. It was crap. It was very affordable, but it was crap.
Right.
And I I don't think I like the green. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
They also, what's that other company? Make the tractors. The green
tractors.
and yellow. Yeah, green and yellow tractors.
Oh, caliper, green
Mm,
and yellow. No,
yeah.
that's
Somebody
your
else
cat
made
is
those.
yellow and black. Yeah, not green and yellow. But anyway, the Hornady, it was the biggest thing on the market at that time back in the 80s. Everybody was buying Hornady. All the big guys. You go to the gun shows, Hornady, 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 Hornady. Then every once in a while you run up and you see these lead guys trying to say,
John
okay,
Deere.
John Deere. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's green and
You'll
yellow.
see these Lee guys, and they were once Lee came out with that progressive press,
Mm,
they flooded the market with that thing. And because they said now everybody can get into reloading under $300. And Lee,
oh, okay.
this is what Lee was doing. They were giving you a press, they were giving you a scale, they were giving you dies, they were giving you powder horns, they were giving you everything you needed to actually when you got that press, you didn't have to buy anything else.
Damn.
Only thing you had to do is just go home and start loading.
Your boy WK came through.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
The rock
WCS.
chucker.
The rock chucker. And it was a rock chucker. It was horrible. Horrible. That I could not stand that thing. And all the FUDs had it. You know what I'm saying? And they
Right.
were sitting there like, oh, you crank out the round like this and like that. I was like,
Mm,
come on, dude.
right.
This thing is taking you all night just to do one bullet. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, how many you get done? I got 20 of them done. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Damn.
It's like, come on, dude. I mean, they called it a rock chucker because you wanted to throw it like a rock.
Right.
You
Hmm.
know, I mean, it just pissed you off. But the RCBS, not the RCBS, the Hornady was the way to go. It was sturdily built. It felt good. It looked good. You can only find the Hornady at the high end places. When I went to some of the gun shops back in the day, Hornady was always setting out. They had the Hornady on display, and you can
Hmm.
actually play with it. The um, the Lee press was always in a box, and you couldn't play with it. The Lee press even came with a brass hopper on the top. So when you put the brass in there, it goes
Hmm.
down. Everything it had everything. Then you go over to the Hornady and say, well, you buy a Hornady and you got to buy dies. You got to buy everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they said before COVID, Hornady gave free reloading classes. Yes, they did. I took a couple of them. I took um, the beginner. I took them all. The beginner and the advanced class, and beginner, intermediate, and advanced class through Hornady, and just to get refreshers.
Yep,
And
that's what I figured when you said that.
mhm. Yeah, I took them all. They were giving them away for free over at the our local gun shop over here, and there wasn't a lot of people in there. It was maybe about 6 or 7 people in there.
Well, that leads to the next question: how many people do you think reload? And that what you just said, I think with our generation, more people are reloading, but I also see that there's new people who are getting into firearms now. They're looking into reloading, and it's kind of like another curve to another challenge, so to speak, because they're apprehensive, but they want to learn more, but they just don't know. Not many people out there reload, but there are lots of reloaders at the same time. There are a lot of people who reload, but they're far and few between when you're looking for them.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to find. When you go to the range and you just ask people, "Do you reload?" And mostly, a lot of the newbies they don't even have a concept of what reloading is. You
Right.
know, so only person I find is going to be in the reloading is probably not a gun collector. They're not going to reload. But you're looking at a person who shoots a lot,
Right.
and so a person who shoots competition, a person who's just an avid shooter. Somebody
Hmm.
that's go to once twice a weekend.
And hunters.
Oh yeah, hunters, definitely
Hunters,
hunters.
hunters.
Yeah.
They may only shoot 50 rounds a year, but they made all 50 rounds of those cartridges.
Some of them do that really want to get into some serious hunting, and some of them just buy that Hornady ammunition because that's some of the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
I agree. But I
yeah.
do know a few people who are hunters and they reload, but they don't shoot in the volumes as you and WK may shoot. They shoot, like I said, they may do 300, 400 rounds a year, but it's all rifle. But every cartridge that they shoot out of their rifles are made by them.
hmm Yeah, I
Gotcha,
ran
gotcha.
into an old guy. I thought it was a quack. Um, he was telling me he was a long distance shooter,
Hmm.
and he was he was kind of wacky, and I thought he was full of it, right? Until I started looking it up. But he said he used to take cotton and put inside his casings, and when he drops the powder in there, the cotton he'll sit the cotton on top of where the like the if the you load the bullet like this, he'll move the bullet to this
Horizontal.
horizontal and put cotton at the top. And when he said he did that, he said he tried to he would do that to control his explosion. So the explosion when the bullet exploded from the back, instead of going straight up, it will because of the cotton, it will push the pressure straight toward the front of the bullet itself,
Okay.
and it will change the dynamic of the feet per second.
So it's getting more
That
velocity out of it.
yes, that's what he was doing.
Mm.
And he said he always did it to work because he kept when he'll load his bullets, and after he did it and loaded them, he said he never turned them up. He always kept them in the case. They were sitting sideways, like the way he was going to shoot them.
Right. So was it also did he use it waxed or was that just straight cotton? Oh,
Straight, he said he used straight cotton because when
wow.
he would shoot, he would see, he'd see a big puff of cotton
Hmm.
coming out of his gun. But it gave him the range and the distance that he was doing, and I was like, "This guy's full of crap." I ended, I ended up getting on uh, a reloading uh, page on YouTube on somewhere on the internet in some user group, and that's what the guys were talking about.
Right.
They were
I've
talking
seen it.
about,
That's why I asked you. I've seen
yeah,
some people put wax cotton in them. They're like a little. It's not even that big. It's
okay,
like a little
wax,
piece of
yeah.
wax
See, the
cotton.
wax cotton, I think it sticks.
Right. And I don't know,
Yeah.
but I've seen it. And that's why when you
Right.
said that, I was thinking, but
Hmm.
the thing about it, the ingenuity of the individual is really weird because you and I are both going, man, get the hell out of there. I ain't doing that because you don't know what the end results are. Then
Right.
you got a guy that come on and he'll talk your ear off, and then you listen to him and it actually works.
Hmm.
Because there are guys out there, and you and I both know them, especially guys with the what's that little tool, the electric tool, everybody Dremel, guy with a
Oh yeah.
Dremel, and it's any gun he gets, he's cutting
He's
something off, right?
he's
Brand
dremeling
new
it.
gun, he's cutting something off because that's the way he. And it's like, bro, you're not an engineer. That
Right.
company
He's
paid
modifying the
engineers
whole
to
gun.
design that, right? And
Right.
and you are chopping it up because
Right.
this was the way it feels good to you, but
Right.
it's yours, and we live in America, so have at it.
Just blew the warranty on it. It's
Oh
gone.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I know more than one person that smooths out and cuts off and I tell them when you're smoothing it out, you're actually taking off part of the metal that they
Hmm.
originally put on there. So if it was XY when you first measured it when it came out of the factory, it's now YX.
Hmm.
And they know that. They know if you and I both had experience with Glock, they'll measure that. And when they measure it and they see that it's shorter
Been
than it's supposed to
modified.
be,
Yeah.
you void your contract. They're not gonna
Yeah.
help you.
It's over.
And
Yeah.
you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
Glocks are so simple. You can go buy all the parts you want yourself and redo it. But you do
Hmm.
something like that with a Sig or and I'm not talking about the new Sigs, but the 226 or a 220, and all those little parts in there like it's a damn cuckoo clock,
Hmm.
and nobody's gonna help you.
Right.
Or HK, they're not gonna help you with that.
Right.
And there's a good thing is another topic, bro. Most of these guns now are striker fired, and they become more simple and less parts. You
Yeah.
remember
Which
back
is true.
Smith and
Yeah.
Wesson, Sig Sauer in the '90s and '80s and '90s. You take that thing open, man, and 1911, you needed
Oh
tools to
yeah.
open it up.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
get some of the original barrel bushings. They had a tool to help you remove the damn thing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and now at the striker fire gun, you got 5 parts. I
Yeah.
think something. I know it's
Yeah.
not the field stripping, not the not
Yeah. Yeah.
stripping
Not
down to bare
yeah.
bones,
Level 1
but
maintenance. Yeah.
right,
That's true.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So and then you think about it, what we had to learn for say like the Beretta 92F or any Smith and Wesson back then, any 1911, you were today would be considered an armorer
Hmm.
based on the knowledge that you had from back then because there was so anybody out there, and WK, you could chime in because I know you know this. Anybody out there that knows how to take down a 1911 without looking up YouTube, without looking at the manual, just right off the top, you have the ability to be an armorer, at least, if not a gunsmith.
Yeah.
If these guys can call themselves building ARs by putting kits
Yeah.
together, you could be an armorer.
Yeah. I hear that all the time, but that's a whole different
Exactly.
subject. I just got to building. You hadn't built shit. Um,
Thank
but
you. See that? See that? He agreed with me, y'all. He agreed with me.
oh, I
He
agree
agreed
with you. I've always been.
it's on video, so we got evidence.
I've always been agreeing with him on that one. I just didn't want to say it,
You
but
didn't,
I'm just
yeah,
like
you didn't back me up. I'm sitting there battling, fighting
I'm
4
t-
or 5 people at the same
I'm
time.
tired of you guys saying you building guns. We didn't build shit. The only thing you did was
Exactly.
assemble. You assemble.
Yes.
You do not have
That's what I
a
said.
machine to mill out all that stuff. You assemble.
No lathe.
You made
none
it.
of that.
It's the same thing as making a Lego fire truck. That's all it is. Build.
Oh, you went hard. That's good. I like
I
that.
see the same
Yeah,
thing
thank
on
you.
I'm on PSA Dagger sites on Reddit.
Mhm.
And these guys, that's all
Right.
they're talking about. Look at my latest build. And I'm just like, dude, you didn't build that. You just bought a lower, you bought an upper, and you put it together. Get out of
Yes.
here.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And that whew. So a couple of the guys that I know, and they all just like they agreed with me, but nobody wanted to get involved. They were like, "Man, you got a crusade going on over there."
Right.
I said, "Hey, every time I see it, I just can't walk past. I just can't
Right.
scroll past. I'll scroll past it and I scroll right back. You didn't build that. You just put it together. Assemblers
assemble.
assemble.
It's a symbol.
Yep.
It's a symbol.
Assemblers assemble.
You're not building guns. You guys are assembling
Nope.
guns. Glock is building guns.
Right. Exactly.
Everybody else is building guns, but you're
Dude,
assembling
yeah.
guns.
You don't
All right,
believe.
so
I seen one the other day. I let it go because she was a little girl, and she was excited, and she said my new build, and all she did was put a flashlight attachment on the bottom
Yeah.
of the gun,
right.
and I was like,
Don't even get
wow.
me started. 'Cause oh my God.
Yeah,
But
I like to. I want to pick it up at the end. Like that final sprint.
yeah, but one of the things to remember when you guys are reloading, watch your primer gauge. Make sure you don't run out of primers while you're reloading. I have a gauge on my primer, and when it gets low, it'll sound off and let me know to. I'll have about 7 primers left, and it'll make a beeping noise and let me know, hey, you need to put some more primers in there. Also, watch your casing when they come down. Make sure that gauge, my hopper, my case feeder is automatic, so I just throw them in there and it'll automatically go around and keep feeding the casings.
Okay.
And so when it runs out, I can see because it has a clear tube. I can see when the casing is empty. But you got to be really particular about your primers because what'll end up happening, you'll end up loading all those bullets, and you'll see all this excess powder all over your tray, all over your carousel. Then once you look in there, you realize none of them have primers on them.
Wow.
And guess what? You cannot prime them after you put. You
Right.
cannot prime them after you just put powder in them because you can blow yourself up. You know what I'm saying?
It's a system.
Yeah, and powder's just
One
leaked
direction.
out, so the powder load is all gone. You know what I'm saying? So another little trick of that. But other than that, I say do your homework, man. Read, read, read. Don't be afraid to ask questions because there's plenty of people out here to help you on these reloading pages. Get on Reddit, and there's a lot of pages on Reddit, and a lot of guys they'll give you several ideas to help you out, and just ask a lot of questions. Also, I think Facebook's got some reloading pages too, and I know you can get on there. But also too, we talked about Marketplace. If you guys looking for any reloading gear, get on Facebook Marketplace, and you can find you some deals. And right now is probably the best time to jump on there because a lot of these guys, it's end of the year, and they probably need to get rid of some of this stuff. You may have some people who died in their family, got all this
Christmas
reloading
coming.
gear. Yeah, and Christmas is coming, and that's the first thing they're going to be selling is items that they don't use anymore. And a lot of guys, they bought all this stuff, and they may wanted to get into reloading, and they realized reloading is not for them. So now they're going to sell this gear, everything they bought at a discounted cost. You know what I'm saying? So if you got the extra funds to spend, get on Facebook Marketplace, and I got turned on to that by WK, and I would give him credit for that. And I mean, I have to stay away from there because I want to buy something. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
And I don't need a bunch of press. I'm good with the ones I have. So
Good.
other than that, we got the class on the 18th. If you guys are, if you got the goal,
Serious. Say it.
serious.
Serious
If
about
you're
it.
serious and you want to come out to that class, come out. Don't fake around. Come out here and learn some stuff, and you'll be very happy because this is something you never seen before. I guarantee you. I put money on it. You know what I'm saying?
Out of the last couple of classes, we only had one person that wasn't happy, and he was a jerk, and he messed up, and he didn't
Oh.
own up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a real jerk, but he was like, he couldn't understand why he made a mistake, and
Yeah.
it's dangerous, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. But other than that, and I mean, he wasn't dissatisfied with the class; he was dissatisfied with himself.
Right. Yeah. Should have just owned up and been honest. But other than that, we'll see you guys in the range. And man, I just fell in love today with the FN57 PSA Rock. I won't tell you
Again.
why. You'll have to
Again.
see it. Again.
Okay.
It's got an RMR on it though. And I'll see you guys in the range. What you got, Al?
Hey man, defend the Second Amendment.
Yep. And sign up for Right to Bear too. Stop
That's it.
stop BSing. All right, see you guys.
SABER. See you on the range.